Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Welcome to all of those who are listening live and also those of you who are listening to the podcast. I'm really excited for what we get to learn today. I was sharing before we started the call, before we started the recording, I was sharing that I've been receiving some amazing information in my daily GPS as I've just been sitting and asking for inspiration. And I hope in this time where there's limited connection with the outside world, that you're really connecting with the inside world, with you're connecting with the world above and having those wonderful moments of just being completely open and, stepping away from the hustle and bustle of anything of whatever you're doing. This is a really great opportunity, I feel like, to do that, because there's so much that we're not engaged in, that we have that opportunity. And just like when Jesus, when he was on the earth and he would speak, it seemed the people who were really poor in spirit were the ones who were really eager to hear his message. And his message, was for them. And those who felt like they had it all together and, didn't feel like they needed him, his message, they weren't able to understand his message. And I feel like we're kind of in that place right now where a lot of us are maybe seeking for some stability and comfort and, whatever it is that we're seeking for, because the things that we used to go to are not necessarily available now. And he's sending out messages, I'm telling you right now, because the last few days have just been amazing, new information that is totally relevant to our time right now. And I know that he's sending these messages out, and all we have to do is just be open to receive them. So for today, our subject that we're going to focus on for our 90-second private meditation is gratitude for open conduits. I think it was Phil that was on our call live today when we were doing our rounds of gratitude. He mentioned that he was grateful for open conduits, and I thought, you know what, that's perfect for how I'm feeling today. And so I'm excited to see what we get to learn as we open up that conduit today. So 90-second private meditation, just silent listening for what you get to learn, what your personal inspiration is on gratitude for open conduits. I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds and just write down whatever comes to you, and then we'll share. Begin. All right. So crazy. The thought that came to me was Gilligan's Island. I don't know if you guys remember that. I used to watch that when I was a kid. And there was one episode where on Gilligan's Island, there was like this group of 7 people that were stranded on an island. They had no contact with the outside world. And on one of the episodes, a huge fiber optic conduit that was full of fiber optic cables washed up onto the beach, and that's how they the first connections, like to Hawaii or whatever, were through these underwater ocean floor cables with fiber optics inside of them. And I don't know if I'm getting all the technology right, but anyway, this huge fiber optic thing washed up on the beach. And of course, the professor is so smart, he was able to tap into that fiber optic cable and to be able to connect with the mainland or to connect with Hawaii. I'm not sure which. And they were able to talk to somebody. And there was an operator. This was back in the day when you had to call an operator if you wanted to make a long distance phone call. And they had tapped into this operator, and she was talking to him on the phone, and they were so excited because, they've been stranded on this island forever, and they finally had connection, and they could ask, somebody to send a boat. And they just were like talking and telling them about their story and that they needed somebody to come and rescue them and everything. And she said, "Why do I get all the nuts?" And then she unplugged the cable. And so, of course, she just thought that there were some crazy people that were talking to her. And so kind of a funny thing that came to me, but what kind of the lesson from that is, a lot of times when we are asking for information, we get that information and we're like, "That's crazy. Why would I do that? That must have been, something I ate last night that made me think of that." And we question our inspiration when it really is true. It's really the thing that would bring us the most happiness, the fastest manifestation of our goals, or whatever it is that we're asking for. And so I just wrote down, question our doubts. Don't question our inspiration, question our doubts. Who else has something they'd like to share?
I have something I'd like to share.
Okay. Thanks, Phil.
I don't remember what book it was I was reading. I'm sure there's a lot of authors that say the same thing here, but when we get scarred on the outside, like what happens, we get cut, and then the scar is actually a tension, right? It's like the skin heals, but it has tension around it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what causes the scar. And if you can go have surgery, and that's how, when they do plastic surgery, they remove the tension, right? So that it can heal without tension, and then you don't see a scar. But inside of us, we have these scars, right? They call them samskaras, right? And
they call them what?
Yeah, a samskara.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, when we have a situation in our life, when we have something that we remember that wasn't positive and it hurts us, then we also build scars on the inside, and there is tension around them. And so when we can remove the tension, then the scar becomes, it's there, but it's not so noticeable anymore. And so as I thought about opening, like, that's what we tend to do, though, is we tend to protect that thing, right? That samskara that's inside of us. And we close. Mm-hmm. We protect it, and we turn off our heart. We don't want to forgive somebody, or we don't want to allow something to be that already is. And so we close it off, and we turn the valve sideways, or we don't let the energy go through. And so we can't heal. And so as I thought about opening the conduits, and when I'm faced with that tender spot, that thorn that's inside of me, to breathe through it, to let it pass, to not engage in it, but to just let it go. And um, anyway, that's what was on my mind, and when I said that. So thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. That's really interesting. I think that's really valuable to have this knowledge, and to, that idea of just breathing through something, because, we know that like limiting beliefs that we have were created because of a trauma that happened possibly when we were little, that we made a decision about. And that's that closing up that you're talking about. It's sort of like a decisions cut off. I cut off any other option for a decision, what that trauma could have meant. And usually as a child, we take it on ourselves, because that's the only thing that we can control in our world. We make a decision about ourselves based on that trauma. So what you're saying is that, now if we have a situation happen similar to, if we're going through some sort of a crisis or something like that, like a lot of us are experiencing right now, that we don't make the choice to create a decision that is in tension and that is closed off, that we just breathe through it, be open, allow it to heal without scarring. Interesting. Thank you.
Yes, and you'll feel it like right in your chest, the resistance. When there's a resistance there's feel. And so if you can imagine turning the valve so that it's open.
Yeah.
And letting it out.
Yeah. That's a way that we can tell whether we're open or closing off, is the tension or the calmness that we feel inside. Thank you. Appreciate that. Who else?
I was just thankful.
Mary and then Rachel.
It's just a simple share, but I'm grateful when I seek knowledge or direction from a higher source, whether it be God or someone else. When I do it with real intent, listening, having faith in Christ, then it flows, it opens up and flows freely, and I understand, and I can see it. So it's this same concept, I guess, just instead of being closed, you seek, you open. And instead of closing it up, you're opening yourself to information that you wouldn't otherwise have. So there are things that I need to do, and there's just things that I need to do that I may not see until I seek it, and I'm open to what that is.
Awesome. I see one distinction with what you shared, Mary, compared to what Phil was sharing. Phil feels like, that there's something happening around us maybe that's causing this tension. But what I'm hearing you say is that you're seeking with real intent. And when we specifically, proactively go seeking for higher knowledge, then we're like consciously opening up that valve and saying, I am open. Thank you. Rachel.
Wow, this is all really, really good stuff. What came to me yesterday was kind of the same idea as an open conduit, not necessarily in those words, but the heavens are really open. And especially right now, I feel it really strongly, the energy, like Heavenly Father, really strongly in our lives. And just whatever we want to intentionally put out there and ask and receive, that we will receive it. And so I have really put intention into growing my relationships and open that valve. And some really hard things have surfaced up, but as I've breathed through them and sought the support that I need, I'm working through it. And I'm really grateful because I know that in the end I'm receiving what I asked for, that my relationships to grow and So yeah, I really feel the power of heaven and helping us to receive what we desire.
Beautiful. I believe that, you know, throughout history, times when people have been gone through physical difficulty, there are miracles that happen. And I feel that too, that God's power and influence is increased right now for those who are open to feel it. And, you know, when you were talking about hard things surfacing, I thought about like opening up a water faucet that has been shut off for years. And, you know, it takes a little bit of cranking, maybe a little bit of oil or something, you know, to kind of loosen that faucet handle. And then when you open it up, a lot of times like rust or debris, you know, something that's kind of accumulated there with misuse or with disuse has accumulated in there, but it doesn't take long before clear water starts to flow. And that handle opens and closes really easily. So it sounds like you're in that space. Thank you. Any last thoughts before we shift over to our permission process today? All right, let's everybody just take a deep breath, really consciously, as Mary was talking about. Be really open, choose to, with real intent, open your conduit. Maybe even envision that there is a conduit that goes all the way from heaven to the top of the crown of your head. And that this conduit is a conduit of communication, warmth, light, peace, everything that God love, everything that He has the ability to send. And also that it's a conduit, a two-way conduit that we can send gratitude, love, and questions, our intentions of learning, our dedication, our commitment to listen, all of those things we can send back up through this conduit. Take one more deep breath. And just invite you to be aware of all of the situation and the different areas of your life, whether that be relationships, monetary, communication, spiritual communication, connection with other people outside of your own family, or, you know, whatever it is, your physical needs, or spiritual needs, emotional needs, all of these different areas of life, and how the current world situation that we're in, or your current family situation that you're in, is affecting your life. And just be open to know, what would God have to share with you? And just be open to receive His love, His knowledge of the future, His love for you, His ability to orchestrate events, His abundant, vast source of resources that He has access to, that He can give you. Just be aware of whatever it is that God wishes to shower upon you today as you're asking, and being open to receive. And as that clarity is starting to form in your heart, so that you know what God would have to say to you today, to give you today, to offer you, also be listening for any limiting beliefs that might be showing up about your ability to receive, your worthiness, the limiting beliefs that might be showing up about the world around us, and any limitations that our beliefs about what's happening might limit our ability to receive. Just be aware of what the limiting belief is that would slow that flow, or completely shut off that flow of abundance through this conduit. And with that limiting belief, there is a cost. There's always a cost that comes with a limiting belief. There's a consequence and a result that comes with positive beliefs as well. But negative beliefs have very far-reaching cost and consequence. So take a moment right now and just be aware of the cost or the consequence that these limiting beliefs have already been causing in your life, and what they will continue to do if you allow them to remain. And if you don't like that cost, then you get to give yourself permission to choose something different. So if you're ready to do that, say yes.
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 Awesome. So what are some new beliefs? What are the new beliefs that will allow you to get rid of that old limiting belief, choose something new, and open up that conduit once again to allow the flow of information, inspiration, love, all of that flow to continue, abundance. And also the flow the opposite direction, that you can send gratitude to him for what we currently have available to us, and also gratitude for his love and his desire to give us even more. What are those new beliefs that will help keep that conduit open? And not even just that there's a conduit open when we sit down and consciously connect, but it's something that we can actually have open for us all the time, that we can go about our daily activities and just receive a constant flow of inspiration. If that serves you, I invite you to choose a new belief that supports that idea. And with these new beliefs, I invite you to use these new beliefs to maybe even envision that you are propping open that conduit with these new beliefs, that you're keeping yourself open, that you're actually propping open your conduit, your ability to receive, your heart, your mind, your soul. Just instead of closing off, being afraid of having, some bacteria or virus or negative words from someone or whatever it is to get in, that you use these new beliefs to allow yourself to just sort of prop that conduit open, so that you and feel the confidence of trusting yourself that whatever comes in, that if it doesn't serve you, you can let it go. Even if it's a virus or a bacteria, that if it doesn't serve you, you can let it go. I invite you to just envision yourself as an open vessel, ready to receive, and that you trust yourself so much and you trust God so much that whatever doesn't serve, you have the ability to let it go as well, because you're so open. There can be inflow and there can be a flow out at will. And being in this open state, what is the one most important thing that you could do today to maintain this open feeling, to have your new beliefs have evidence that your new beliefs are true, and that will increase the trust that you have in yourself, the confidence that you have in yourself, that you can walk around just being open? What's the one most important thing? What's your inspired shortcut to maintaining this open conduit? And I'm looking at the time that we are really at the end of our time, but I do want to open it up at the end if there's someone who just feels like it would be really beneficial for the group if you shared. I do want to give you that opportunity. So just kind of check in and see if that's you. In the meantime, just want to invite anybody who is struggling at all with any of this that has been shared, or if you just need the next step. If you're open and you're open to maybe a different perspective that I could possibly provide, I would love to have a conversation with you. And all you have to do is just go to askwylene.com and you can schedule a 15-minute call. Askwylene.com, it takes you right to my calendar, and that's a free call, free 15-minute mentoring session. Who has something that they would like to share about their experience today?
I would, Wileen.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah. For me, it was to breathe and allow and trust. My limiting belief was, you can't leave me, and others will see you. The cost is I stay and don't venture out. So this was powerful for me. My new beliefs are still in a work in progress, but I am trusting the adventure unfolding in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I am following the guidance I receive. I am open to receive new shortcuts. I am seeking and receive what I see and accepting what I see. And I am maintaining an open feeling, which you actually said, and I wrote that down, but I am maintaining an open feeling.
Beautiful. Thank you. I wish we had time for everybody to share. I know there's some powerful new beliefs out there. I invite you to go to the Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, and post your comments there, your experience from the call today. I know, especially, when you share those new beliefs, you share what your limiting belief was, because almost always there's somebody else that's had that or has that as well. And you sharing your experience really opens up the door for other people to be able to make a change in their beliefs as well. And so I know that it's helpful. Thank you so much for being on the call today. Thank you for those who are on live. Thank you for those who are listening to the podcast. I encourage you during this time, people are seeking, and this is a really great time for you to share these gratitude calls on your Facebook page, or share them individually, to people that could benefit from it. This is how, one of the really great ways that we can communicate right now when we're not interacting personally is to just send out light, just send out gratitude, send out love, send out gratitude and light, and all of these good things that bring God into the picture. He is light and love, and everything that comes from him is light and love. And when we put light and love into our lives and also out into the lives of others, it's God's in that. And that's what we need right now, is everybody turning to that source of light and love. That's really what's needed in this time. And you have the power to do that. You have the ability to do that. Thank you. We'll look forward to being together once again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. And thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, wylenebenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.